Today we're going to show you how easy it is to keep this nasty stuff out of your Ram pickups intake system with the J&L oil separator. Including the J&L oil separator kit, it's a fully assembled oil separator, mounting bracket and mounting screws. The tools you're going to need for installation is a ratchet, extension, 10mm socket, 13mm socket, Phillips head screwdriver, standard pair of pliers, 13mm wrench, and a small flathead screwdriver. Let's get started. This model that we're doing this installation on is an e-torque model, which is going to have a few minor differences over the standard 5.7 model, but I will show you those throughout the video. But our first step for both installation is to remove the engine cover. There's two 10mm bolts. There's one down in this cup and then one over there. So we need to remove those first. And then we're going to lift up on the cover, pull away. And on the e-torque model, you just kind of got to get it by this wire harness protection, which is right here. So this is specific to the e-torque model. Now when you remove the engine cover, these stands sometimes will come with the bolts. There's one on each side. These screw in to this bracket, so if they come off, what you need to do is grab this with your 13mm wrench and remove the bolt from it and then screw these back in. So this one it didn't, but I have had them before where that's happened, but that's an easy fix. Now I have removed the intake tube for this installation. That is not required, but for the video we can see the line a lot better, so I just did this for video use. But again, the intake does not need to be removed completely to do this installation. So now we need to remove the factory PCV line, which is running from here to the intake, to the back, to the PCV box in the back. And then there's one clip that is holding the line. This clip's got a little tab on it. You just pull that tab down and it unclips. And then to break these free, sometimes these are stuck pretty good. You're going to take your pair of pliers. I'm going to open it so I don't squeeze it really hard. I've already taken this line out once, so this is going to be a lot easier this time. But just to show you, you're just going to twist this line and remove it. And then the same on the line on the back. It's a little tight quarters back here, but you're going to twist this and then remove it. Again, if it's the first time that line's been out of the truck, it's going to be harder than that, but that's all it takes. That's what I did on the first time. So we're going to set that line to the side. Now if you have an e-torque model, this connection here in the back, we're going to need to remove this so we can flip it 180 degrees. This is on here pretty tight. It's not glued or anything, it's just kind of stuck. You're going to take your same pair of pliers. You're going to work around to the back, and basically you just kind of want to lightly twist this to break the seal like that. This has already been off, so this is going to look a lot easier than it was, but you're just going to twist it off while you pull, and that's going to pull right off, and you just need to flip it 180 out. If you have a standard 5.7 truck and its normal location is how it's going to connect, it's very easy to do. But on an e-torque, we need to get around this bracket, so we need to flip this. And now we're going to work on mounting our oil separator. All right, we're going to prep our oil separator for installation. We're going to take our mounting bracket. We're going to align the logos. They should line up. Use the supplied screws. Now also is a great opportunity, check your can, filter installed. You want to screw that up to the base of the O-ring and then give it about another half of turn, and that is plenty tight. Now another thing I want to show you is your unit should come shipped like this. These fittings and the end of the hoses move. So this is kind of like the standard 5.7 setup, where it's going to go behind where that bracket is and connect to that connection. Remember, on the e-torque we flipped it, so we'll have to do the same thing to this connection. They just twist. Again, it may be tough to break free initially, but these are free spinning. So I'm going to adjust this right now just to kind of be how it needs to be on the e-torque. Now, how this is going to install, our bracket's actually going to wedge between the engine cover and this mounting stud, so right in between. So now we just need to make our hose connections, because that's going to hold it in place. So this one at the back, remember we flipped that for the e-torque. We're going to just push that into the connection, and then the connection up front is going to go into the coupler for the intake. And then essentially this is going to mount like that. So I'm going to back up this camera so you get a better view of this, but I wanted you to see this connection here. So again, front connection is going to plug right into our coupler. This is going to mount like that. So now our last step is to reinstall our engine cover. Again, on the 5.7 owners, this bracket's not here on your standard 5.7. This is only for the e-torque. So this hose would just connect this side. This would be flipped, that connection would be flipped, and it would clip right in. Obviously you can install it like this too, which is more than fine. It just, you don't need to fight that connection off the back of the manifold on the standard 5.7. So just makes your installation a little easier. All right, so I'm going to sit this into place. So we are in those grommets. So now what we need to do is align our bracket over this stud. So I drop the bolt in through the hole, and then I'm gonna push my bracket over top of it so you can actually see. And to start these by hand, you can see the alignment. There you go. That's tightening down. I'm going to get my other bolt started. And then you're going to go and just tighten those bolts up. If you did remove the factory intake, now's a good time to reinstall that. Having the intake out of the way does provide more room, especially for aligning the engine cover, being that you all but need to lay on top of the engine to get it back in there. But once it's in place, it's good. And like I said, you fight a few more things on the e-torque model than you do on the standard one, but overall, it's a pretty simple installation. Now, your average collection on a 5.7 Hemi setup is about an ounce of oil every 1,000 miles. What we would recommend you do is check it at about 500 to 1,000 after your installation. And that'll give you an idea of how frequently you need to check it. The can holds 3 ounces. And if you can't remember to check it, you can set a reminder in your phone, on your calendar, like a reoccurring event, maybe every 3 to 4 weeks. Check your oil separator, depending on how much you drive your vehicle, if it's your daily driver. And that's a good way to keep track of it. If you have any questions, please reach out. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you on the next one.